Good day, sir. I am Niljan P. Floreta and I am your presenter for Specialized Crime Investigation 2 with simulation on interrogation and interview. So in this video presentation, I am about to discuss 5 topics. First is the crime scene processing. Second is fundamental crime scene protocol. Third is hypothesis of the case. Fourth is the theory of the case. And last is the role of an expert witness. So, let us proceed to our first topic. Crime scene processing is not dissimilar in that respect than to other work-related tasks such as exchanging a motor in a car, painting a landscape scene, or preparing a meal. There are specific tasks related to each work goal. So basically, crime scene processing is just like any other forms of activities that involve process, meaning it follows procedures to come up to a conclusion. So, ang crime scene processing pala ay para lang normal na mga activities or mga gawain that we usually see because it involves process or steps like cooking, no? First, kailangan ma-prepare ang ingredients, hiwain ang ingredients, gisahin ang spices bago ilagay ang meat. So, just like in crime scene, there are steps to follow in order to achieve that goal. So, next is fundamental crime scene protocol. Interview, examine, photograph, sketch, and process. So, in fundamental crime scene protocol, these are the guiding principles or guiding process on how to respond to a crime scene in order to achieve that desired goal, or the conclusion on the crime scene. These steps are to be followed. So, first is interview. Interview is the crime scene technician must interview the first officer who responded to the crime scene or the victim to determine the hypothesis of the case. On the whole, it deals with what allegedly happened, what crime took place, and how was the crime committed. So, ang interview is the basic questioning towards those who are involved in the crime scene. So, the first responder is to be questioned, by the crime scene technician because the first officer who responded in the crime scene must have known more details or already have a preview of the crime scene because he is the first responder, and the crime scene technician will ask him what happened here or what are the details of this crime scene in order to have a hypothesis of the crime, meaning he will have possible answers towards the 5 W's and an H. The who, what, where, when, and how. So, by interviewing, by basic questioning, the persons who are involved in the crime scene, then the crime scene technician can formulate a hypothesis about the crime scene. So next one is examine. The second step involves examination to establish if the theory of the case is corroborated by what the crime scene technician observes. Examining the scene would make it possible to identify the potential items of evidentiary nature, identify point of entry and point of exit, and getting the general layout of the scene. So, the scene of the crime, examining the scene of the crime will shed light to the case. Meaning, sa pagsisiyasat sa pinagyarihan ng krimen, dito natin makikita ang mga ebidensya na may potensyal na magbigay ng kasagutan sa mga katanungan at makabuo ng konklusyon. So, in examining, by examining, then you can have more or further answers towards the question or to confirm your answers and to confirm the theory and hypothesis by examining the crime scene. So in examining, no, it will examining is the process of looking more into the details, no, in the crime scene. What tinitingnan ang mga physical evidences, or uh, it is an action of thorough inspection of the crime scene, no, in order to confirm your ideas or your hypothesis of the crime. So next step is photograph, no? Photographing the crime scene to chronicle a pictorial view of what the scene looks like and to record items of possible evidence. So basically, no, crime scene photography's main purpose is to retain the crime scene's look as it is when the first responder arrived. So that's why crime scene to chronicle, meaning to make a document, to document the crime scene as it is when the first responder have arrived. And this is the purpose of this one, is to record the crime scene, because during court hearings or when the investigator will appear in the court, then he can show exhibits of the crime scene, and also this allows the investigator, no, to retain in his memory the look or the face of the crime scene. And this also helps, no, crime scene photography also helps in identifying possible evidence that are not visible to the naked eye. So that is why photographing the crime scene is involved in the fundamental process or procedures, no? So next one is the sketch. So a sketch is a graphically portrays the scene of a crime and items within the crime scene that are of interest to the investigation. So meaning, no, the sketcher will include in his sketch all possible items that may relate to the crime. And in crime scenes, no, they usually use rough sketch because there are many types of sketch. So as you can see, no, in the image, this is a rough sketch that portrays accurate distances or dimensions and proportions of possible evidences in the crime scene. So, no, this is a example of a rough sketch where there is a body and these are the rooms or inside where the body is situated. No, so these lines represent distances and proportions. No, so this is what the image that you can see is an example of a rough sketch. And from rough sketch, the investigators may create a finished sketch where it is comprised of precise or accurate representation of the crime scene. So ang finished sketch, no, is a sketch, no, completed or created from the rough sketch, where it is more detailed and more accurate, and it represents, no, truly represents the scene of the crime. And also, in making a sketch, no, the sketcher can or must or can create more than one sketch per scene, so that there are more angles, no, the more the merrier. Mas nindot pagdaghan siya og kopya, klase-klaseng angle or in different views of the crime scene. And also, no, sketches are useful to an investigator as reference in questioning witness, suspects, and victims in preparing a report of investigation and to refresh your memory when appearing in court. So this does not refer to a sketch or a drawing na sketch This refers to guide questions na dinadala ng ating investigator, and in here dito din na sinusulat ang mga na kalat na impormasyon. That's why investigators must always carry their tickler or a small notebook where they can note down information and primary questioning guidelines na maaring itanong sa mga persons involved in the crime scene. So, the last one is process. Process, the crime scene technician will sort out the crime for evidence, both physical and testimonial. So, the crime scene technician will evaluate each collected evidence to categorize them and send them to the crime lab for thorough examination. So, the process is, ang ibig sabihin nitong process ay ang pagproproseso ng mga evidences, the proper handling of evidences to examine them in the crime laboratory. So next one is the hypothesis of the case. This deals with the alleged happening, what crime took place, and how was the crime committed. So as I have said earlier, hypothesis of the case can be gained from the preliminary interview towards those who are involved or towards the persons who are involved in the crime scene. So from the gathered information in the preliminary interview, then the investigator can formulate this hypothesis, or also known as an educated guess, from the presented preliminary information. So that defines hypothesis of the case. So it is not yet final, it is only an educated guess from the presented information. Next is theory of the case, a detailed, coherent, accurate story of what occurred. So basically, this refers to the final report that may have happened, which will be presented before the court of law. So, ang theory of the case, it is a summed up of all the information during the processing of the crime scene. Ang nilalagay lang sa theory of the case are those information that are confirmed and true. The theory is comprised of all confirmed facts of the case. So, it is, however, theory, it is still said to be a theory because wala pa man na-prove sa court ang guilt sa suspect kung siya ba jud ang actor sa atong crime. So, the last one is the role of an expert witness. So, who is an expert witness? Ang expert witness, these are professionals or experts in different fields. So, where physical evidence is of a difficulty that it makes it complicated for the average person to understand its significance, an expert witness may be called to explain to the jury the proper interpretation of the evidence at hand. So, kunyari may namatay namatay dahil sa drug overdose. So, dahil ang mga police or investigators and the jury or the judge, the attorneys are not specialized with these medical terms and these medical processes, then they can call upon the expert witness. Ang forensic, maaari nilang tawagin ay ang isang forensic toxicologist. Then, this forensic toxicologist can appear in court hearings to shed light towards or to share information in the court of law about his expertise and what is his conclusion with the details that are presented to him, since he is an expert in this kind of field. That's why they are called expert witness. So, that's all. Thank you for watching and listening po, sir. Stay safe and God bless.